Brazilians linked to the extremist group Hezbollah were preparing attacks in Brazil, said the federal police.
The presence of the terrorist group Hezbollah in Brazil could bring serious consequences imposed by the United States.
That's what experts interviewed by Jornal do Record say. They also say that the terrorists may have connections with the most dangerous Brazilian criminal factions.
The young man acts as a soldier, which is the name given to those who are there to help criminals escape, as well as to defend the territory, whether exchanging gunfire with rival factions or with the police during operations.
In a shocking discovery, American intelligence identified the link between the extremist group Hezbollah and the PCC, revealing a network of cooperation that has been monitored since 2006. The Brazilian Federal Police itself had already warned about this joining of forces, and recent CIA reports also confirm that the alliance has grown even stronger in recent days.
The PCC has connections at the triple border with terrorist organizations, with Hezbollah, the PCC with international fundamentalist Islamic terrorism, because a terrorist organization is a criminal organization. Not every criminal organization is a terrorist organization. And the partnership or the business that these two do, Hezbollah and the PCC, is something that bothers and worries the American government.
This connection puts Brazil at the center of an international plot that involves terrorism, drug trafficking, and clandestine operations. Intelligence reports issued by the Israeli Mossad reinforce this connection, showing that Brazilian organized crime does not operate only within national territory, but also provides logistical support for extremist operations. These ramifications include attacks against Israel and other regions of the world, showing that the PCC is not just a criminal faction, but part of a global network of violence. Cooperation with Hezbollah expands the reach of illicit activities and creates a direct risk to national security. This whole scenario seems to be leading Donald Trump to push the button and authorize strategic attacks against PCC and Commando Vermelho structures and vessels. But would the United States be capable of carrying out such an action on Brazilian soil? Welcome to life in the barracks. Hezbollah is internationally recognized as one of the most organized and dangerous extremist groups in the world, with military and financial capabilities that cross borders. Its structure involves everything from arms trafficking to sophisticated intelligence operations, and it also relies on the support of international financing networks. The PCC, established as the largest criminal faction in Brazil, controls drug trafficking, smuggling, and money laundering, and also has direct influence in political and economic sectors.
Many layers, as the internet likes to say, show just how organized crime is here in Brazil, because economic and political journalists know that one way organized crime uses to launder money, even politicians, is through gas stations, right? Historically, it's just one way to launder money. What we learned today is something much more sophisticated.
The gas station is just the tip of the iceberg.
It's really just the tip.
It's the tip of a gigantic pencil.
And within this whole scheme, organized crime manages to make a profit. So they were making money with their own structure.
The merging of these criminal networks creates a dangerous symbiosis. Hezbollah gains access to the roots and the Brazilian market, while the PCC receives financial and logistical support from a group with experience in global terrorism. This alliance could turn Brazil into a strategic point for illicit operations on an international scale, increasing the risk of attacks and internal destabilization.
Society has reached its limit. Society's tolerance has been completely exhausted.
Its fabric of tolerance, the massive fight against Brazilian factions is, in a way, also an indirect fight against the tentacles of Hezbollah operating in the region. The illegal operations include drug trafficking, arms smuggling, money laundering, and corrupting public officials. This mutual financing strengthens both organized crime and extremism, creating a network that is difficult to dismantle without coordinated actions. The FBI officially established a base in Paraguay precisely to contain the advance of Hezbollah in the region. This decision was made after reports from the CIA and military surveillance indicated the active presence of the Lebanese extremist group in the region, with the support and logistical backing of the PCC. The geographic proximity and the fragility of the borders make Paraguay a strategic point for monitoring and neutralizing these criminal operations. This connection is one of the reasons why the United States officially declared the PCC and the Comando Vermelho as narco-terrorist organizations. The measure follows the same approach taken against Hamas and Hezbollah, groups that terrorize not only the Middle East, but also carry out attacks against civilians in different parts of the world. By including the Brazilian factions on this list, Washington expands its legal authority to combat and international cooperation. The increase in the Southern Command's personnel in the region shows that the challenge of containing the Brazilian factions is more complex than it seems. By trying to prevent the organizations from being defined as narco-terrorists, the current Brazilian president fails to prove that these are merely common crimes. This denialist stance further weakens Brazil's position with the international community. To make matters worse, the Montito portal, which specializes in military news, revealed that the Brazilian army suspended operations against organized crime at the border due to lack of funds.
Lula's government cut 4.3 billion reais from the budget allocated to the armed forces. From the Brazilian army alone, 1.5 billion was cut. In other words, the Navy, Army, and Air Force are all being harmed because of Lula's government.
The withholding of resources for defense proves that Brazil's difficulty in fighting crime is systemic. At a time when there should be alignment between federal and state forces, the country finds itself limited by a lack of investment and political will. This inertia in Brazil gives even more support for the White House to carry out direct attacks against PCC and Comando Vermelho. By not making efforts to strengthen the police and the armed forces, the current president of Brazil shows the United States that he does not intend to collaborate with the international effort that is being mobilized in the Shield of the Americas. The absence of an integrated combat belt opens space for external interventions, which may even include direct attacks on the Brazilian coast, as has already been happening in other countries.
By air, sea, and land, in a wide and intense operation, they seized a shipment of 564 packages of suspected cocaine off the coast of Barahona province.
The Shield of the Americas has advanced with significant strength, consolidating positive results from joint operations between different countries in the region. The Paraguayan government took a decisive step by signing an official document that allows the entry of U.S. military personnel and agents into its territory, including the carrying of weapons.
The Americans can bring whatever military equipment they want into Paraguayan territory without any kind of inspection.
The measure aims to strengthen direct cooperation with local forces in the fight against organized crime, especially in border areas where trafficking and smuggling are intensifying. In Ecuador, joining the Shield of the Americas was also marked by concrete actions. The country carried out several military operations in partnership with the Southern Command, demonstrating strategic alignment with Washington. Among the most significant episodes, the bombings against drug trafficking infrastructure on the border with Colombia stand out, a region historically dominated by cartels and armed groups. Argentina, in turn, contributed significantly to strengthening the intelligence network. The country opened a counterterrorism center, which now includes FBI agents working together with local intelligence forces.
We have signed agreements with the FBI. One is the agreement with the DFI of the Argentine Federal Police. We are going to work together to train the best investigators in the country so that there is no more impunity for crimes committed in our country. The second agreement is to support the National Anti-Terrorism Center. Together, the Ministry of Security and SEIDI
to protect against threats that our country may face. This integration expands the capacity for monitoring and responding to extremist threats and criminal organizations, creating a safer and more coordinated environment in the region. From a geopolitical point of view, this connection between Hezbollah and PCC can be seen as the trigger for the United States to launch military operations against these organizations on Brazilian soil. CIA agents are already operating in the shadows within Brazil, monitoring every movement and collecting crucial information. At the same time, Southern Command military personnel have been conducting amphibious landing training and deploying military assets such as jeeps and boats, showing that for surgical operations, it's not necessary to mobilize large resources like aircraft carriers. This strategy indicates that we are facing the possibility of an unprecedented action in Brazil, specifically aimed at neutralizing criminal structures. And for those who doubt the possibility of this happening, just remember what happened in Iran and Venezuela recently. Direct operations without prior warning that changed the political and military landscape in a matter of hours. Brazil may be about to experience something similar, as the alliance between Hezbollah and PCC continues to strengthen, and waiting to fight back later may be too late. We have reached the milestone of 100,000 followers on Facebook, showing that the Vida No Quartel community keeps growing. We wanted to thank everyone who has been participating in the debate, commenting on all the videos, and creating a community that is tuned into geopolitical events. The idea behind Vida No Quartel is to encourage independent analysis and to help everyone have a broader view of events. Enjoy free shipping while it lasts. This promotion is for a limited time only. Here at Vada No Quartel, you stay up to date with everything happening in the military world. Leave your like, subscribe, and watch one of the videos that's appearing on your screen. Forward, fighters. See you next time. Hey, hey.